Well, hello there. Hope you guys are doing well. Hi, Mike. How's it going? We're playing we're playing a game today that's a little different, but I'm excited. Yeah, I agree with you. Luckily now my husband's got a Zoom meeting with the people that are going to be putting in our AC on Friday to go through all the details of everything. So hopefully next week we'll get our system in. That'll be nice. That'll be nice. So we are going. I want to show you the store page on this game real quick. It's got overwhelmingly positive reviews. It did come out, um, over a year ago. However, I got it. I got a different game, and this was in a bundle with that, and I feel like this is this will ease us into this kind of like game series here. So this is called The Root Trees Are Dead. It's a genealogical, you know what I mean, mystery straight out of 1998. You scour the early internet for clues, uncover hidden connections, and piece together the family tree behind the secretive Roottree Corporation. So it's a detective puzzle mystery point and click investigation type game. Um, Severe storms with tornadoes. Oh goodness, that sounds horrible. Good thing it happened after the air show. All right, so um, this seems like it's going to be a really cool, um, really cool game, but we need to have our thinking caps on. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of an adventure game. The developer is Evil Trout Incorpor- Incorporated. Um, so the game that I got, that this was bundled was with the incident at Galley House, which I saw Gab Smolders play, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like a fantastic game. So this came in as a bundle because it's from the same dev. And so I was like, you know what? We're gonna play this one first, and then we'll go to the Galley House one. You know what I mean? So we're gonna try and figure this out together, I guess. You know what I mean? Um, which one? I don't know what the compatibility means. Let's just go. Let's just go into it. Gonna have to fix the sound, I'm sure. What is going on? Okay, let's go into settings. This is weird. Graphics. Windowed. No, we don't want windowed. We want full screen. There we go. Uh, Hopefully everything's gonna be good. Voice language, main volume. I don't know if there is. I'm gonna turn the music down because I don't know if that's, um, you know. Yeah, I saw that. There was a lot of people there. A lot of people there. So, all right. I feel like this is good. Gameplay. I think we're okay. We're going to save the changes here. Let me come over here and make sure that I've got this sound on correctly. Hopefully we'll be okay. I'm hoping. Hoping. Just going to wait until ads are done. And all of you that are joining us later on, I hope everybody's doing well. I want to say thank you to everybody who's followed me and everybody who's subscribed on YouTube and followed on Twitch. I appreciate it very much. If you like these kind of games, let me know down below. If you're on YouTube, you could also join our Discord and let me know there. Let me know if there's any other games you want to see, that kind of thing. And we are back from ads, so. And I don't know if you heard me, Mike, but yeah, there was a lot of people there for that air show. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Crazy. All right, so I don't know how fast-paced this is going to be. Again, I saw Gab Smolders. She played this, I guess, when it came out like a year ago or whatever, and it took her. Now, she did a YouTube video on it, and I don't know how much cut she had on it. I did not watch it, but her video was like 4.5 hours long. So this might go today and maybe tomorrow, depending on how smart I am. So we're going to go ahead and start our new game. Get your thinking caps on, people. There we go. And my husband's at work today, so I might have to pause to work with my let my puppy and, you know, all that good stuff. So just FYI. December 6, 1998.
The plane that crashed last night just outside of Pittsburgh is now known to have been the private jet of the Roottree Corporation. Local aviation authorities have speculated, based on the pilot's final communication, that the winter storm and heavy winds played a significant role in the crash. On board were multiple family members, including corporate president Carl Roottree and his daughters, the Roottree sisters, best known for their fashion lines and modeling careers. There were no survivors. Again, for those of you just joining us, the Roottrees are dead.
Interesting. Oh.
I know it's late, but I'm guessing you've seen the news. In addition to dealing with the grief, the Roottree Company's lawyers are scrambling. Everything's about to change. Anyone proven to be a blood relative is about to get much richer. I'm here to ensure everyone is accounted for.
Interesting.
I've heard you're an expert at sorting out complicated family trees. A genealogy genie, as it were. I'm going to give you a quick test. Pass, and I can promise you the job of a lifetime.
Okay. Complete the family tree of the Roottree sisters. Siblings are in birth order, oldest, youngest. Examine my evidence. Search the internet for clues. Fill in the names. Fill in the occupations. I did not read all of that. Sleuth. Okay. Fill in the occupations and fill in the photos. All right. So we've got this picture here. The person who hired you gave you this photo with a note attached. This was taken during the shoot for the Roottree Sisters Got Milk ad. Tracked down a test photo from before they painted the fake mustaches, on which I thought would be more appropriate considering the circumstances. The ad copy reads, "You might recognize our faces from the magazine you're reading, or you might recognize our name from the candy bar you're eating. Being a Roottree is a full-time job, but so is growing up. That's why the calcium found in milk is so important. Plus, you can't make chocolate without it." Interesting. Okay. So we've got the 3 sisters here. Okay. I can... Alright, so... Hey, Spence! How you doing? How you doing? Okay, and then this was the list. This list was provided to you by the mysterious person who showed up at your door. You'll need it to fill in the family tree. Eloise. So this is the women. Eloise. I'm not going to go through all the names currently. I know. And then there's the men. Okay, so we've got a list of all of the names. All right, but we don't know who Eloise is. We've got a question mark next to Eloise. So we don't know her last name. All right. So that's it for that. Okay. Show photo items, show text items. Okay. So let's go back to this. So we don't know. Siblings are in birth order. So the siblings, the Roottrees, that's down here. So we've got like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 that actually have the Roottree name, which I'm assuming that these girls are going to have the Roottree name because, you know, they're the Roottree sisters. So I'm assuming it's going to be one of them. So search the internet for clues. Okay, so let's go to the internet. Oh, maybe I should have read the welcome stuff. You don't know math after 9? I love mystery type stuff, so I'm super excited about this. Let's do the welcome text. Welcome to the information superhighway. 56K modem. So this is, remember, this is 1998. So if you find anything interesting, be sure to print it out with your included high-end color laser printer to burn a music CD or burn a music CD to listen later. Be sure to use the history feature, happy surfing, and remember cashew PCs are delicious. Don't try to eat your computer. That's hilarious. Okay, so spider search. So are we searching for Roottree? Let's see. First few pages are filled with news results about the plane crash. Besides that, there are countless advertisements and conversations about the various products made by the Roottree Candy Company. Most articles mention Carl, who was the president of the Roottree Candy Company. His daughters are also whatever, collectively. I can't speak. Eulogized. You don't miss the dial-up sound. I thought Roottree said root beers. You're hilarious, Spencer. It's all good. It's all good. All right. His daughters are also eulogized, collectively referring to as the Roottree sisters. They've been famous from an early age. Okay. So let's look at Roottree sisters. There are a lot of obituaries that focus... What is that? Why is that set ending? On the Roottree sisters' modeling careers. You also come across an unofficial Roottree fan site, seemingly curated by a teenager. It's neon pink with purple text. Hard to read until you highlight the words. The young webmaster writes, Raina is the most famous because she's the oldest and got married to TMS. But Riley is the smart one. Rose is middle. So, okay. Raina is oldest. Riley is the youngest. And Rose is the middle. Okay. Raina Rose, and Riley. Jeez Louise. Raina, Rose, and Riley. So if we go Raina. Where's Raina? Raina. Rose. Where's Rose? Is Rose a different... Is she actually named differently? Alright, let's go here. Raina is... Raina, Rose, and Riley. So... Rose... is a middle child. Like me. So is Rose not her real name? Okay, Spence, enjoy. All right, so we need to look for Rose. Rose. And I'm not seeing Rose. Because it would be RHOS. Is she different? Nobody in the list with that name. If someone isn't in the list of names that your employer provided, doing a deeper dive on what you would learn about them, brand names, books, lines, or magazines that you don't recognize, search for them. Okay. So, Rose, let's go back here. We want to look for... like Rose. So let's go look for Rose Roottree. Roottree sisters. Unfortunately, the results for Rose by herself don't lead to anything different when it... Huh. So how do I find out Rose? Because Rose is the middle sister. How do I find that out? I don't have any portraits. Click on faces. Okay, so evidence tab. So she wants her ear pierced like... Okay, so this is Rose. That's Rose. Let's go back to this. So we want to put Rose there. Let's go back to our internet. History. Rose is the middle. Riley is the smart one. Try to dress in plaid root clothes like Riley. So Riley is in plaid and is the youngest one. Riley is in plaid and is the youngest one. So that means that she's the oldest one. Unknown occupation. Models. I think they're all models, right? Model. 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 Okay. So Riley, not Riley, but Rose. Why is there no Rose here? What is Rose's real name? Your brain is gone. So Rose must be. Why is Rose not in here? That's the question that I have. Because I should. Oh, this is a. She's married to T. What is it? TMS. Raina. Oops. Okay. Who is hmm. Check for typos. Search only one person or concept of at a time. TMS. Okay, so oops, I didn't click on it. Heartthrob Tommy Mark Sheridan. Drug use. So Tommy Mark Sheridan. Tommy Mark Sheridan. Which doesn't help me there. I can't hit the right buttons, Tommy. Okay, so how am I? Siblings, cousins, second cousins, third cousins. Okay, cool. Tommy, Mark. Is it Mark with a K? Sheridan. Right. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna do the hint right now. Let's see. Tommy Mark Sheridan. Fill in the names. Okay, so that makes it smaller. All right. Is there anything? Let's look at this. The Notorious Montjoys. Okay. Okay, what else can we look at? What else is over here? Anything good? I'm not seeing anything over there. Riot Girl. Okay. Anything over here? That's my evidence thing. Okay. All right. Thomas Sheridan. Thomas Mark Sheridan. Soap opera called Time Marches Onward. Time Marches Onward is soap opera. It was the first credited role for Tommy Mark Sheridan. He was 7 and still being credited as Thomas Sheridan at the time, according to your search. 22 years, said to focus on 3 large families. Carson returned, now with partial amnesia. Second run, Carson was played by an actor other than Thomas. Face in bandages. None of it seems related to the Roottrees. Of course it doesn't. Okay, so... Oh my god. I keep hitting like 14 million keys. After a short engagement, they married when she was only 19 and he was 23. That's the same thing. Raina Roottree. So let's look at... unofficial Roottree fan site. This is the same one that I just read, right? Yeah. Rose. Good research tip is to make note of any brand names, book lines, product lines, or magazines that you don't recognize and search for them. So if we go back to our history here and we look for just maybe Root. Maple Crisps, Roottree Candy. There are lots of results for the Roottree. Extremely popular candy products. Their official website is unstable due to traffic it's been receiving. However, you find a direct link to the history section that manages work momentarily. The Roottree Company was founded by Elias Roottree, Gwyneth. It has no CEO and no stockholders. Instead, it's run by a president with input and votes from extended family. The site does mention that every president has been a direct descendant of Elias and Gwyneth, including Carl, who, despite his death, is listed as the current president. The product that put them on the map are 5 pieces maple candies with 5 different flavors that are dipped in a crispy, crackly candy coating. Since they have branched out to countless other products, all of which incorporate maple in some way. Their sister company, entitled Root, specializes in children clothing. The primary models for Root are the Roottree sisters. Okay. Interesting. Not giving me anything about Rose, though. Gwyneth. Maybe Elias. Oh, okay. So I got a picture of Elias now. Roottree was the founder and first president of the Roottree Candy Company. Propaganda site about him created by the Roottree Candy Company. At the top, there's also a picture of him and his wife Gwyneth. That picture has been added to your evidence. There's also a biography section that has some additional information. Elias is credited for inventing 5 pieces. Before that, the farm he inherited by marrying his wife only produced syrup. So he inherited a farm by marrying Gwyneth. Okay. So maybe Gwyneth had... No, because she's the middle child. Ooh, maybe Rose is not... Maybe Rose is somebody from, like, an illegitimate child. Five Pieces became wildly successful. He spent his energy on cementing his reputation as a family man. He quoted the site as saying, "Blood is thicker than syrup, and that any child linked by blood to me shall be linked by blood to my legacy." It enthusiastically claims that he made good on that promise, but offers no additional detail. There are a few more quotes about Elias from a book called Family Man, The Roottree Legacy by Bess Williams. To say they are biased on it is a massive understatement. Below that, there's a long list of accomplishments, and awards, and one stands out. Like his great-grandson, Carl, Elias was voted Watchman of the Year. So, but Carl's dead, right? All right, let's first go back here. So this is Elias, and this is Gwyneth. It seems quite difficult to find any site about Elias or Gwyneth that isn't accompanied by this picture. They are notable Roottrees in the list in your evidence. They will be marked on the chart with a star. Okay. All right. So Gwyneth, let's look for evidence on, let's look for Gwyneth. Gwyn, because I can't spell. Gwyn, Gwyneth. Let's search Gwyneth. She was an Anderson. So Gwyneth Anderson. She had no brothers, so as the oldest sister, she was to inherit the Anderson Maple Farm so long as she married. So she only got the farm because she got married. Before Elias took over, the farm produced only syrup. It was supposedly Elias's idea to create candy instead. Their success was not immediate until they decided to combine the maple with the other flavors. This led to 5 Pieces. Though the Roottree Candy Company expanded well beyond their original form, it has been preserved as a tourist attraction, according to their website. There is still daily demonstrations and educational tours to show off many of the turn-of-the-century appliances that Gwyneth would have used as a housewife in the early 1900s. Okay, so Gwyneth and Elias. So early 1900s. So this is way, way later. So these guys are the founding Roottrees, I would assume, right? So she had no brothers. So as the oldest sister. How do I, like, why can't I get her, a picture of her in there? I mean, like, I can get her picture in there, but I can't get her name in there. Because her name isn't in the list. She's not considered an actual Roottree. Why? That's the question that I want answered. Why? Why is she not considered an actual Roottree? Candy, Carl, Gwendolyn, Gwyn, Raina, and Riley. But Rose is not considered a Roottree? Why not? The Eloise name? Okay, I could do that. Eloise. All right. let's go here. But we don't have a name for last name for her. Louise. Roottree maybe? Anderson? Nothing for the Roottrees. So if we go back, say here, what else would be? I mean, there's lots of last names that we could possibly look. Eloise. Maybe Eloise. Doesn't say who. Okay, it says that Carl. Let's go back here. Is it Carl or is it Elias? Okay. Carl Roottree is the president. So let's look up Carl Roottree. He died in the recent plane crash along with his wife Brenda and their daughters, the Roottree sisters. So, okay, so Carl and Brenda are the parents of the Roottree sisters. Okay. Roottree Candy Company plans to put out a press release within the hour to address the absence of Carl, the crash questions they've been receiving. Once you finish placing the Roottree sisters on the family tree, it would be wise to repeat this search. But I already... All right, Brenda. Let's look up Brenda. You stumble across an auction for a black and blue dress that's a Brenda White original. Okay, so let's look up Brenda White. Okay, Brenda White. That's it. See, I can't move forward until I can get her name in here, but she's not, Rose is not a Roottree, right? So what would Rose's name be? Would it be Rose White? There's Brenda White. But I'm not seeing Rose in here at all. So was she named something different? That's what I'm trying to get, because why? So Rose is there, but she's not there. And I did try to search Rose, right? I did, and that came up with nothing, right? Dress that is a Brenda White original. Doesn't seem relevant to my search. Carl and their daughters, the Roottree sisters. So did Brenda... See, I'm thinking that maybe Brenda had an affair or something, and Rose is a middle child like me. Model's dad is the president, and their mom, Brenda, is a fashion designer. Maybe I just look up Root? Oh, it always has a period afterward. Oh, dumb, Stacy. They make clothes for children, toddlers, teenagers, although their website is down. One of them has to say, you've spied the Roottree sisters looking hella fly on catalogs, magazines, and posters. Now you too can be like Riley, Rose, or Raina. You also come across a website from a collector of clothing catalogs. Apparently Root has released 2 catalogs per year every year since 1984, and Raina appeared, Raina, on almost all of them. There's only one that the webmaster considers a collector's item enough to mention. It seems that Brenda Roottree, the Roottree sisters' mother and Root's head designer, appeared on one cover holding their daughter Rose. Oh, this site says it was the only time her daughter was ever listed with her birth name. Yay, I did it. Carly Roottree. Carly Roottree. Carly Roottree. There she is. I did it. I did it. All right. These 3 entries are correct and have been locked. We've also locked the following optional entries. None. Okay. Booyah. That's funny. Uh-oh.
Sorry to test you, but I had to be sure you could use the internet. Some folks refuse to get with the times. Safe to say, you're hired. The reward for untangling the family tree is substantial. Life-changing, even. But here's the catch. The root trees go way, way back. The family tree's a bit daunting. Most people freak out the first time they see the whole thing. But I'm sure you'll be fine.
Oh, dear Lord.
The man who started it was particular about whom he considered family. For your purposes, you only need his direct blood relatives. Anyone related only by marriage is optional, but filling them in can lead to useful discoveries.
Okay.
Lastly, you now have access to some unique websites, plus a list of notable root trees. Notable people are easy to find via your search engine, and marked with stars on the family tree. I'm off for now. Carl Roottree had a lot in his office. I'll look for anything useful. I'll return once you identify 6 more blood relatives.
Okay. Aye, aye, Captain Jack. Oh, dear Lord. What'd you
Sorry,
forget?
one last thing. This might sound odd, but if anyone else claiming to represent the Roottrees reaches out, I'd appreciate you not mentioning I was here. Thank you, and good luck.
I don't even know your name, lady. Okay. All right, so we've got some notables. Oh my goodness. This tree is humongous. Sleuth. Oh my gosh. Okay. Before the person who hired you returns, every time you get 3 additional blood relatives in the family tree complete, correct name, occupation, and portrait, they will be locked in. All non-blood relatives and small portraits are optional, but placing them in the tree helps remove extra names and photos. Okay. So this is going to be him and her. And he is Elias. Oh, is it Elias C or Elias M? Oh, duh. I need a lozenge. All right. Gwyneth and Elias. Gwyneth was. She was Gwyneth something else, right? Beforehand? Gwyneth Anderson. And she was a housewife, I believe. And he was. He wasn't the CEO, right? Was he? Was he the CEO? I mean, he was like the founder, right? Um, but is he Elias M or is he Elias C? Let's look. Um, Watchman of the Year. Like his great grandson Carl, Elias was voted Watchman of the Year. So which Elias is he? Well, we got through the first section. I finally found out the real name of Rose, so that was good. Now we're trying to figure out. So Elias has a middle initial, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is he Elias M or is he Elias? Where is it at? Is he Elias C or Elias M? And I can't remember if I saw where he is in that. But basically now, this is the family tree, Spencer. So I figured out the 3 girls. And her name was, I can't look at it now, but her name was like Carly or something like that. All right. But hey Des, how you doing? So what I'm trying to do now is to find out which Elias he is. So good, I'm glad to hear it. So is he C or M? So let's look up. What is this? 5 pieces named to kids. Teen Blast, it mentions that 5 pieces were named as such because the original creator had 5 children. It also mentions that the current 5 flavors are not the same as back then. Okay. Okay, so the higher the number, the more there is to find. Okay. Let's go back. Notable root trees. Which Elias is it? Easy to find online. I gotta find out what Elias he is. Parents. Okay. Okay, so just helping my mom around the house so she can pack because my parents are off to England tomorrow. Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right. We need to go back to... Can we research him? Is it the same thing? It is. Okay. So, Elias... Maybe we look at Brenda. No, not Brenda. Maybe we look at... Oh, that's right. The, Maples... First Anderson Farm. And she's going to help me sort out my Bucky's puzzle in colors for me. And I'm back. You're back. Okay. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. All right. Gwyneth would have been... Okay. So which Elias? Elias. Was a weird anime ad. Yeah, we obviously don't pick the ads, right? Periodicals, public library, spider. Oh, that's right. What was her name? Wait a minute. Let's go back to the... Is it under Elias? No. It's... Yes, Bess Williams. So we want Bess Williams. Oh, I need the book title. Son of a biscuit thrower. Can I highlight this? I can. Can I copy? Oh, that's fantastic. I can't paste it. What is the keyboard shortcut for pasting? Is it, I don't know what the keyboard shortcut for pasting is. Is it, Control P? No? Command V? There we go. Thank you very much. The book is impossible to find these days. Published in 1920. So I can't even find it. Okay. All right. Periodicals. All right. So what? Let's see. I need to find out his middle thing. So, this game is basically we are trying to figure out the Roottree history, legacy, family tree kind of thing. The Roottrees died in a airplane crash, and so now I've been tasked with figuring out their genealogy, because of, I guess, for lawyers and stuff to figure out who gets what or whatever. So I'm basically like a detective. All right, so, but I need to find Elias's middle initial. He was the first president, founder and first president. I don't think I have. All right, so let's look at, I think I already searched the Roottree Candy Company, didn't I? General results. So Carl Roottree was the sister's father. So if we go Carl Roottree, this would be... We don't have a picture. Carl Roottree? I'm assuming that might be right, but we don't know who he was married to, right? Oh, no, yeah, we do. It's just not important. Brenda. Or no, wait, because Brenda... Yeah, it had to be Brenda. Brenda... White, I believe is correct. And Carl's occupation was the CEO. So his occupation was the president, right? President and founder. Because there's not a founder, right? No. So president, first president. I'm assuming. Okay. But I don't know which name he is. I guess I could choose one of them and see if it is correct. Oh wait, now there's like, okay, so I guess I'm just ridiculous because I was looking at these two and I didn't see these. So that's got to be correct, right? No? No. Is he a junior? It doesn't seem like I got it right. Something might be wrong. I thought he was the first president. And founder. He was the president and founder, but the founder doesn't have excuse me, doesn't have a thing. So do I not have Elias's name right? Huh. I don't have Elias's name right. Elias and Gwyneth, 1909, after they founded the Roottree Candy Company, but before it was a success. Any site about Elias or Gwyneth that isn't accompanied by this picture, they are notable Roottrees listed in your evidence. They will be marked in the chart with a star. Okay. But I don't know. That's the TV thing. Yeah, we're trying to sort out the family tree. This is a quick overview. We return in time to... It took to fill out 6 more blood relatives. Yeah, we have 4 Eliases. So I'm assuming that I've got the name right. I just might not have the occupation right. Photo items, text items, marketing. Okay. And then this is just me trying to keep notes, but I'm not very good with notes. So if we were to... Can we just do Roottree family? Carl Roottree, who was the president. So Carl Roottree's the president. So I have this wrong here. This would be president. Current president, probably 5th, I would assume. Split up, split up. Her husband was the Thomas, what's his face? Thomas Sheridan. There we go. That's correct on her thing there. What is that? I don't know. I don't know why I would have... I could do an extra picture there. Alright, maybe we skip to something else. So they had 5 kids. These guys had 5 kids. No, that's why you have the candy that's the 5 candies. What are their children's names, though? And I don't think I can get that unless I get this correct. And I don't know... I need 3 more correct blood relatives before they will lock in. See, I believe that I've got him right there. So I need to figure out, maybe go this way because I need star stuff here. Possibly, or maybe up this way. So their parents were, I just don't have a picture of Carl. Let's see, Carl Roottree. I think I looked him up though, right? Carl Roottree. Oops, I hit the wrong thing. Carl. Hi, Aaron. How you doing? All right. The president of the Roottree Candy Company is Clothing Root, which he co-founded. Okay, so this is the release. I'm doing good, Aaron. Doing good. So with a heavy heart that we mourn the loss of Carl Brunda, the Roottree sisters, and other employees that perished in the terrible tragedy. The entire Roottree family is in shock and requesting privacy at this time. As the head of our company, Carl was an incredible man and unmatched leader. Filling his absence will be difficult and may take considerable time. In the interim, we hope that you'll join us in looking back fondly on Carl and his family's triumphs and accomplishments. They go on to list some of these accomplishments. One of them seems relevant to your search. Like his great-grandfather before him, Carl earned the highly prestigious Watchman of the Year title. Okay, so am I supposed to look for Watchman of the Year? Oh, good. Business Watch magazine is a magazine focused on companies, CEOs, and the economy. They have been around for over 100 years in one form or another, and will often write about major changes in management at famous companies. Every year, they offer an award to a prominent businessman who has furthered the field. They call this Watchman of the Year. You'll find through a few searches that 2 Roottrees have been featured as Watchmen of the Year, Elias and Carl. Business Watch does not host any online archive on any site you can find via spider search, though you may be able to find individual articles and issues through your periodical search. So periodical, Business Watch magazine? Am I supposed to look? Oh, Business Watch. And the only names you recognize are Elias in 36 and Carl in 87. So Elias was his grandfather, great grandfather, right? Oh dear Lord. Great grandfather. Great grandfather. So that means grandfather, the father of his grandfather. Is that what great grandfather is? So if we go back here, so if Carl's here, that would be his father. This would be his great grandfather. No. Carl, father, grandfather, great grandfather. Okay, so that's him, Watchman of the Year. And Carl had Watchman of the Year. Okay, that doesn't help me if I don't have a picture. So, not helping me at all. Okay, so, wait, let's go back to here. Was there anything new? There wasn't. What is this? So this is the 3 flavors, or the 5 pieces, and this is because he had 5 kids. So we have apple, raspberry, chocolate, strawberry, and power plum. All right. Radical new flavors because it's no longer the 1920s. This is the higher the number, the more there is to find. So there's 11 things that I can find connected to this. All right. They're not the same as back then. So maybe I can search for original 5 pieces flavors. Actually, no. Let's just look for 5 pieces. 5. Is there a space? Okay. Although they are no longer the company's only popular product, they still sell well to this day. 5 pieces are small, colorful, shell-coated maple candies that since the late 20s have been pressed into the shape of maple leaves, although they usually have one flavor that looks more like a berry. Its tastes have changed over the years, so have the 5 flavors, but the shape and combination with the maple have remained consistent. There's also a history of print advertising website that claims to have a 5 pieces advertisement scanned from a book called The Sweet History of Candy Volume 2 by Charles Lee. Unfortunately, when you click through the website, it seems like all of their image links are broken. Okay, Sweet History of Candy Volume 2. Let's see. Is it periodicals? No. Let's do copy. Charles Lee. And then this we want to, let's see if we can search this. Ooh, I did it! This is a part of a book series about all things candy in the modern world. It starts in 25 and continues onward to chronicle the rise, mass production, and global distribution. The book ends with a look into the future of candy as envisioned by experts in 85. With the addition of hindsight, you can clearly see they got pretty much everything wrong. It includes some print advertisements. You find a newspaper ad for 5 pieces from the 30s. Okay, so let's look at our evidence. All right, so G is for grape, E is for elderberry, CE is for cinnamon extract, M is for melon, and introducing M for miracle berry. So so they were inspired by their children. Miracle berry is a burst of beautiful blossoming blended berries. So whoever's the miracle berry is the baby, I would assume. It states that the flavors are inspired by the children, and the order is Grape, elderberry, cinnamon, melon, and miracle. Okay, so whoever's grape is the oldest child, which isn't really going to help me, I don't think, when we're looking at this, right? Because that doesn't go. So is there a chronological way to do trees? Is it like the firstborn is on the left and so on? Or is it firstborn is on the right? Is it right to left or left to right is my question. If it's left to right, so let's see. If Carl's here, then whoever would be the third child, doesn't matter which way you go, whichever would be the third child would be Carl's grandparent, right? So if we're looking at that, the third would be cinnamon extract. So cinnamon, C Roottree, probably. C Roottree. So if we go into... What does this say? C Roottree. Another Carl? Maybe? Let's go into the root trees. We've got Candy, Carly. If it's a girl. Candy, Carly. If it's a man, Carl, Clancy, Clancy Jr. Jeez Louise. Okay, so that's not helping me at all. Let's see. Let's go back here. 5 pieces. Image. It wouldn't be a periodical because we found it in the public library. So let's look up cinnamon. What is it? Cinnamon extract. Let's look up maybe cinnamon extract. Nope. Can we just look up cinnamon extract and see what that happens? Nothing. Children in the order is grape, elderberry, cinnamon extract. So, okay. So let's go back here. Oops, to here. And let's look up, maybe we can look up Candy Roottree. Let's look up Candy Roottree. No. Okay. Carly Roottree? Oh, okay. Okay. So Carly might have been his mom. Rose was originally born Carly Rose. Apparently her parents had planned to name a son Carl, but after finding out they were having a second daughter, they called her Carly. Sometime in the early 90s, a now preteen Carly strongly expressed her dislike that her sisters had RH names and she was the odd one out. That's when she began to go by her middle name. Okay. So Carly, that is Rose. So then the other Rootrees is Carl, Clancy. So let's look at Clancy Edward. Copy. I probably could have just spider searched it, but nothing. Clancy Jr. Nothing. Okay, so so I don't know who else it would be. Would be Carl's dad. Like, I'm trying to build up, or you know what I mean? Like, not necessarily dad, but I'm trying to build up from Carl up to here to figure out who the third daughter is. I need a picture of Carl, but I'm not getting a picture of Carl. And I can't figure out who Cinnamon was. I can't figure out. Let's see here. Because I don't think this is right. I feel like there's something wrong with this here. But it says I need 3 more correct blood relatives before they'll lock in. So that means I need to get down to another blood relative. The first, okay, maybe I got to go more simple. The first, red Roottree. The first child is G. G is for grape. Inspired by their children. G is for grape. So let's look at the list of names. It's going to be under Roottree. Gwendolyn. Gwen. Is there any G's? There's no G's for the men. So it's got to be one of the girls. So if we go into, let's search Gwendolyn. Nothing. Okay. Let's search Gwen. Nothing. That's not helping me at all. E's. There's some E's, right? Elias Jr. No. But one of these one of these up here. Let's go back to this. One of these 4 or 5 needs to be Elias Jr. But which one? Like, I don't know. Again, I don't know if trees go from, if family trees go first child left to right, or if it's right to left on a family tree. Let's keep searching. Let's keep searching. So Elias Jr. came up with nothing, right? Spider search, nothing there. Elias M. Spider search, nothing there. Edward. Nothing. I could use a duck, possibly, because the duckies give you hints. Haven't searched for everyone on your list of notable root trees. That's a good place to start. Okay, so notable root trees. If we go back to this one. Roottree sisters, Elias. Gwen Roottree? I searched her. Gwen Roottree. Let's try again. But I'm pretty sure I searched for her. No? Alright, let's try. Okay. Find information on a website found. I thought that I searched her when I did that. I guess maybe I didn't. Maybe I put their names in there, but I didn't hit the search bar or something. I don't know. I guess maybe I just was doing it wrong. Find some information on a website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. This site is not very well organized and your search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine. Gwen Roottree is a somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 50s. She often appeared in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicized divorce. They spelt publicized wrong. Her biggest role was the minor hit movie Guys Like Us. She left Hollywood after the flop Christmas Mission. There's a widely circulated picture of Gwen from behind the scenes on one of her movies, which you've added to your evidence. Did you know Gwen was the granddaughter of Elias, the founder of the Roottree candy? She shouldn't have been named Roottree, but her father took her mother's famous name, which was quite rare in those days. So her mom was the daughter of Elias. God, I can't think. But, all right, so we're trying to understand. Gwen doesn't say that she had, just that she was the granddaughter of Elias. So she would be in the second category, and she was famous and then separated, right? Maybe it's over here. So widely circulated picture of Gwen behind the scenes of one movie. Gwen was a granddaughter. No, father took mother's name. Doesn't mean that she was divorced. Doesn't. Okay, so. Oh, yes, it does mean that she was divorced. So Gwen, active in the 50s. So this could be her here because they split up. Is that the only one on that? Yep, that's the only one on that line. So this has got to be Gwen. This has got to be Gwen. It's got to be Gwen. Where is she at? Where's the name? Gwen. Okay. Got to be her. And she was an actor. Okay. We don't know who her spouse was. And we got a picture. Where's the evidence of the picture? Here we go. So we want to put her... Oh, gosh, she's so pretty. She is so pretty. So we're going to go back here, and we are going to put her there. Well done. I did it. Can you believe it? I did it. These 3 entries are correct and have been locked. Fantastic. Oh. I also unlocked the optional entries. There was something else. Thomas White, Brenda White, and Thomas Sheridan. Booyah. Okay. Fantastic. So now we need to find out who Gwen's mother was or father was. No, mother was, because her father took the Roottree name. So that means her mom is there. You're saying this is crazy, but do you like it? Is it a crazy that you like it, or is it a crazy like why are you playing this? Because I'm enjoying it. All right, so let's see here. So Gwen's mother was a Roottree. Maybe, all right, let's go back to this one here. Let's go with red Roottree. Red Roottree. Can I do this? Oops. Copy. Search. Crazy as in good with how deep you have to go to find. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm digging it. And that's why I'm excited because, like I said, Gab Smolders, who she just did the next one that just came out from this dev. So I wanted to do this first and then we'll go on to the other one, which is just like this in the sense of it's really in depth. I am always very interested in these types of games, so I'm hoping to be able to do them like once a week along with the other games. All right, Red Roottree. You find information on a website about strange historical facts. Aloysius Herring Roottree. What the hell kind of a name is that? Aloysius Herring Roottree, aka Red, was an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname, ironically, because he was the ambassador to Ireland for only about 6 days. He served what some people contend is the shortest term in history. I don't know what that name is. It might be, I mean, he was an appointed judge and politician in Ireland, so it might be an Irish name. He served with what some people contend was the shortest term in history. A few days after he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position and the Irish people. Maybe not. He then tried to run for state senate. He claimed to be related to the Roottree Candy Company in a newspaper ad, but it came out that the last name was merely a coincidence and he was defeated in a landslide. So Red isn't really a Roottree. You just saw lightning. So Red, okay. So, oh, I get it. Red herring. That's why. Because he's a red herring. I get it. That's clever. Oh my gosh. That's very clever. He was a red herring. I get it. All right. Merely a coincidence. So he's not related to the family. Interesting. Okay. So let's go back to this. We want to look up Jim Roottree. Jim Roottree. I know I have to go back to Carl. Copy. Okay. James Roottree is a singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife Diamond LaRoe. The duo, according to many sources you find, is considered a one-hit wonder due to the disco song Rolling On Down to the City. Although Jim writes the majority of songs, plays the guitar, and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but has its fans who refer to themselves as Diamond's Dazzlers. The rest of their music is more folksy and acoustic than the one song they're known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release music through the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you find mentioned are Cherry Tree and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse and hasn't made a public appearance since 96. So he's not that old. All right, what's the evidence? Oh, there it is. Rolling on down to the city. Jim and Diamond. All right. Jim and Diamond. Okay. Barely a top 20 hit for a few weeks in 79, according to the liner notes. It satirizes how a part of society was content to remain indifferent to economic inflation and civil unrest in the Middle East, unless pop culture tricked them into caring. Somewhat ironically, listeners didn't seem to pay attention to the lyrics enough to trick them into caring. Instead, most of its play came from roller discos. Because it was such a product of its time, it doesn't get much play anymore, even on stations that play oldies. Maybe that's why you've never heard of it before now. This image is from an auction for a sealed copy. It has a sticker that says, "Only the great-grandson of Elias Roottree could make disco this sweet." It's credited to Peter Yankovic from MMM. Music and lyrics by Jim, vocals by Jim and Diamond. Jim is on the notable Roottree's list in your evidence. He would be marked with a chart. Okay. The lyrics contain no clears. Then why put them in there? Okay, well, whatever. So he is the great-grandson of Elias. Great-grandson. Okay, so great-grandson. So Elias, great-grandson. But we don't know great-grandson of where. Great-grandson of where? Him and Diamond. Because that would be, this would be son, grandson, great-grandson. So he would be on the level of Carl. But we don't know where yet. And he does have a star, right? Well, the only other star there is here, correct? Because it did say he would have a star, right? Jim is a notable. Okay, so he's going to be a star. So the only other star is right here for the great-grandson, right? Because this would be son, this would be grandson, this would be great-grandson. So this is going to be, this one here is going to be him. This one here, oops. This is James, right? James Roottree. James Roottree. And he is a artist. Would you call him an artist? Or is there a musician? He's a musician. And the spouse is Diamond, what's her face? Diamond LaRue. Okay. So they must have had Jane LaRue. Jane LaRue is probably down here if they had daughters. Maybe, possibly. What is this? Can I add her picture? Maybe. I'm going to assume that's where I can put her picture because it's just there. Okay, so if I get another picture of James, I can put it, I mean, Elias, I can put it there. All right, so we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so let's go back to the evidence. Let's look for Carl again. Oh, there's still more. There's still more for Jim. It's not crossed out. Carl's not crossed out too, probably because I need Okay, so we'll come back to that. Let's do Lauren Roottree. Oops. Lauren Roottree. Copy. I'm assuming, right? I mean, I might be able to look at it in the public library, maybe. We'll see. Let's do this. I'm going to wait till the ad's over. Because I think, Spence, you're the only one that's getting caught with the ad, or not caught with the ads right now. Do 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 do. Okay, we're back. So I searched for Lauren Roottree. Author Lauren Roottree, a distant relative of the Roottree sisters, is known for her book A Life Between Wars. According to a website about famous authors in the early 1960s, Lauren released a few romance novels under her married name, Lauren Rafferty, to little fanfare. When her publisher learned she had been keeping diaries about her famous family, they insisted she release them under her original name, Lauren Roottree, to take advantage of her family's notoriety. The selection of diary entries released in 1965 as A Life Between Wars spans from the untimely death of her husband in World War II to coping with the post-war world as a young widow and mother, as well as her perspectives on changing times and socialites all the way through the entire entry into Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it has found new life as an exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style and for a look into life in previous generations. After the success of her diaries, her publisher re-released her romance novels under the name Lauren Roottree. This included Romance in Court, which gained popularity. She followed the release up by writing 2 new sequels, creating what fans refer to as the Court Gesture series. You'll find no recent details about Lauren, though she is listed as retired. So this was in the 60s, but it doesn't say who her dad is. Dad or mom. Like, she was married. She's a distant relative of the Roottree sisters. That doesn't help me. So let's look for public library, A Life Between Wars. Copy. Lauren Roottree. And then we're gonna paste this. All right. Student edition, republished 1993. It seems you've hit the jackpot here. This is a book occasionally taught in schools. You'll even find a hardcover edition for students that has full-page, high-quality pictures in it. Summary of the contents of the book, photos, as well as have been added to my evidence. Oh, 7 of them. Holy moly. Holy moly. Let's go. Oh, look at this. Below are notes and observations you made while skimming through Lauren Roottree's diary, pages in A Life Between Wars. Lauren Roottree is on the notable Roottrees list in your evidence. She will be marked on the chart with a star. Book was published in 1965 and consists of data and diary entries that stretch from 40 to 65. The most important event that much of the diary and Lauren's thoughts revolve around was the loss of her husband, Jacob. Jacob died in final months of World War II while Lauren was pregnant. This left her to raise her son, Clark, alone. Lauren never remarried and only had 1 child. By skimming pages of the diary, you glean the following information. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Okay, granddaughter on her father's side. Her mother's family was called the Cosels, but she hardly ever mentions them. Her father, who she says always refers to as Pop, was the head lawyer for the Roottree Candy Company and helped write a legal document called Clanced Trust. It's clear from the context that the Roottrees have internal shorthand names for the different generations of their family. Lauren uses them often. 5 pieces. The first generation of children by Gwen and Elias. Lauren's father was in this generation. So, okay. So her father, Pop. Okay. Next generation, Lauren's generation. The free spirits, the generation after Lauren's, including her sons. Okay. Complaints. An entire entry entitled Complaints from Lauren's Roottree diary, written in 1953. This entry seems to focus specifically on one of Lauren's family members, Gwyn, who is on the notable Roottree's list. It seems everyone has something to complain about Gwyn. As an only child, Gwyn, as an only child, complained of loneliness. I told her that being expected to watch after 3 younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing, but it fell on deaf ears. During the summer where I went to stay with her and Aunt Margot, I hope she would be the sister I never had and that I would do the same for her. I even tried to dye my hair blonde to fit in with the 2 of them. What a mess. But she just complained. To her, I was a lucky cousin. Now she's off living the glamorous life while I'm stuck here with Clark. I must admit, seeing her everywhere contributes to my unhappiness. Her visage stares at me, even now from my coffee table. She gets to be in starlet and tells tales of how she gallivants around the world, kissing the likes of Harrison Lane and Wild Bill Williams. She's the first Roottree woman to be anything other than a housewife, and I'm jealous. If I were not a single mother, could I make my own way in this world? But I'm off topic. A girl with all the luck in the world was jealous of me. And now, though I have been undoubtedly burdened by terrible tragedy, I am also lucky to be born into a family that can support me for eternity. I can raise a child without worry, unlike countless other widows. If any of them were to hear me complaining, they would rightfully scoff, just like I do at Gwen. So Gwen is her... Gwen, as an only child, complained about loneliness during the summer where I went to stay with her and Aunt Margot. So Gwen is probably her age, right? And Margot is one of the original kids. Holy moly. An entry entitled Dynasty from Lauren Roottree's diary in 1958. It focuses on the day her grandfather Elias announced he would step down as president of the Roottree Candy Company and the meeting to determine his successor. I wish I had been a fly on the wall today. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Granddad was furious none of his sons would take over as president, but that's what he gets for holding on to it so long. With architects, preachers, and lawyers, nobody got time for candy. So with the 5 pieces refusing to step up, it came down to us next gens. Pop argued at length that the company should stay with our branch of the family, since we still have the Roottree name. I'm not even sure Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who volunteered. Instead, it ended up going to Zach. Even though his surname doesn't match the candy, he's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. Holy shit. I'm not sure how that's relevant to running a company, but Granddad has always had very particular views when it comes to his bloodline. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach, and I'm the oldest of us all, but he just laughed. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Ma it wouldn't go to us. Mother, even the quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, countered back maybe they wanted it to go to the only member of the family who looks like he samples the product. Somebody who's, I guess, bigger. I need to take that picture of them. Okay. In an entry entitled Sam from Lauren Roottree's diary, written in 1963, from a previous entry, you learn that Elias Roottree had given in to his wife and announced that Sam, an obscure relative, was to be included in family gatherings. Gwyneth had been pushing to include Sam for quite some time, Lauren writes. Okay. Gwyneth. All right. Why Sam? I have many distant relatives I've never met. After all, Granny had sisters and Granddad had a brother or two, but I was told trim their branches from the family tree. So why is Sam special? Nothing adds up and I'm the only one to realize. Angie summoned all the next gens to a secret meeting in Zach's office. Gwen's in Paris, but the rest of us, including Miracle's boys, spent ages trying to unravel the mystery. I didn't recognize Sam at Uncle Junior's wedding to Patsy last year. At the reception, when I asked who Sam was, Pop shushed me and said it was complicated. Clancy swore he saw Sam working alongside the farmhands, E.C. and John, when he used to drive past the old Anderson farm on his way to work. Upon hearing that, Zach checked the records and managed to confirm all three are on the books. Eli, Miracle's youngest, not my brother, oh Jesus, even chimed in. Apparently, when he was riding in his mini bike alongside the farm a few weeks ago, Sam gave him some old tools and taught him how to make the bike's engine faster. None of us think that proper for a multitude of reasons, but Eli certainly seemed thrilled. At the end of the day, nothing explains why an outsider has cozied into family affairs, especially one who works on the farm of all places. Whatever happened to blood is thicker than syrup? Why is Granddad making an exception now? Long lost? No. So Sam, goodness gracious. One of the final entries, Clark, in 1964. Clark getting married and, in my opinion, far too young. He's barely 18 for God's sake, and Danielle isn't much older. But openly confronting them would make me a hypocrite. After all, Jacob and I got married at 16. Clark, like the rest of his generation, is a free spirit. What else do you call a group of kids growing up with more money than any one person can spend? They all aspire to be musicians and artists and dancers and all sorts of nonsense, but the only one who has any discipline is Carl. But that's because Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. Maybe I'm just getting old, but our generation was never so bad. My brothers all seemed to pursue paths of knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. Pop seemed to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. As for me, my first published book, Swashbuckle My Heart, is based on the pirate stories I used to invent with Jacob when we were walking in the woods after school. I think he'd be proud that Clark and I are carrying on his name. Even my cousins are doing well. Zach's not a bad president after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job raising her twins. Gwen is Gwen. But at least she came out of the divorce with her head held high. She even told us she might come home next year so we can meet her kids. But the free spirits in any other family, they'd all end up on the streets, even Clark. So she only had one kid. Is Clark her son? I'm assuming that Clark is her son, because she only had one kid. But Is Clark his real name? That's the question that I have here. What is this? Lauren's diary contains some label pictures. This is the 5 pieces. Ooh, look at the 5 pieces. Caption, this picture was famous in our house. Pop even had it framed. That's him on the left. So this is her father. That's Pop. So where did I put her? She is, I did not put her anywhere yet, huh? She must be here. Yeah. She must be here. So that must be her, right? Let me look. This could be her. Huh. But we don't know if they split up, if her kids split up. But she only had one kid. Pop. I need more information. I need way more information. Angie and I... Okay, so that's him on the left. It was taken in 35 to celebrate the move to the new warehouse that Eli Jr. designed. Angie and I both wanted to be in the photo since Miracle was in it, and the 3 of us were all about the same age. We were told only the 5 pieces, which really didn't go over well. So Miracle must be this one, because that looks like the youngest, right? Eventually, I suppose, to stop the tantrums, they posed us in front of the camera with Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendolyn. I found out years later that they never even took a second photo. I'm thinking that this must be Miracle here, because it's the youngest. What do you guys think? I'm thinking that this is Miracle. And then poses in front of the camera one with Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendolyn. Angie and I both wanted to be in the photo since Miracle was in it, and the 3 of us were all about the same age. Only the 5 pieces, which really didn't go over well, to say the least. Eventually, I suppose, to stop the tantrums, they posed us in front of the camera with Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendolyn. I found out years that they took a second photo. So this is the 5s. This is the 5s. That's her dad. That's Lauren's dad. Okay. That's what okay, so what is this? Lauren's... This is the next generation. Caption, an attempt to recapture the spirit of the 5 pieces photo with our generation. For old time's sake, we gathered on the warehouse floor. I wanted Eli to stand all the way on the left, since to me he looked a lot like Pop, like Pop did in the old one, but as outvoted by my brothers. They insisted the 4 of us stand together. Oh dear Lord. The 4 of us stand together, and so we clumped up in the middle and let everyone filter in behind and in front of us. The 4 of them. So is that the 4 of them here? I would assume so. And then the only one too good to make an appearance was Gwen. Grandma insisted we include Sam even if we didn't want to. None of us understood why, including Sam. I also didn't think it fair Miracle made it in, since he's technically a 5-piece. So Miracle, I'm assuming, is this one because of the glasses. He had an eye patch on in the other picture. So I believe that maybe this is him. I guess my inner child still holds a grudge even after all these years. So is she... Okay. Let me look at the picture of her and her husband. So that's her. She kind of has interesting sleepy eyes, that kind of thing. If we go back here and we look at this one, that would be her, I would assume. That looks like her. There. I'm assuming. So if we go back over here to... Oh, I don't know where I'm going to put her. That's right. I don't know if I'm putting her over here or over here. Because we don't know if Clark... She only had one kid. Oh, wait a minute. She only had one kid. So that would mean she would have to be here. Not necessarily. She could be here. No, she's a star. She's a star. So she could be here or there. That's one of... Either here or there. Oh, dear Lord. Do we even know what's going on? Okay, so let's go back to this one. So Lauren, we just looked up Miracle. Let's look up Miracle. There's a Miracle Junior. Copy. Search. I feel like I might need to look up the rest of this stuff. But we're going to in a minute. Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name in promotional materials. Instead, he has shortened it to Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. is a televangelist who is part of the Miracle Network. He used to have a show that aired on local access across many stations in the northeastern United States. According to the website called Clergy Watch, he was exposed and subsequently charged with conspiracy to defraud the public in '79. When he claimed to heal someone in a wheelchair. A news expose, goodness gracious, revealed it was his wife Edith's sister in a disguise. The author also mentions that Edith had a bit of a checkered past herself, but doesn't clarify. He has since lost his television show and instead goes on tour across the southern United States, where he was not well known before the scandal. Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name in promotional materials. Miracle Jr. Miracle Network. So let's look up Miracle Network. Copy. Found a website for the Miracle Network, a production company run by the Miracle Roottree estate. It's quite bare bones, but has the following blurb. Witness the testimonies of the Miracle's Roottree. Miracle Roottree arrived so late in his mother's life that doctors swore he wouldn't survive his first year. His mother and father, Elias and Gwyneth, named him Miracle because they thought him impossible. He was younger than his brothers and sisters by over 14 years. With a birth that late, the final child of his generation was nearly torn apart by countless health problems. But still, with the power of God on his side, he persevered. He triumphed over these complications and even regained his sight to spread the healing word of Almighty. 23 years later, Miracle Roottree Jr. arrived and became the famous family's second vessel for the higher power. At 18, he unburdened himself from the Roottree name and took his father's testimony to a whole new level. By the power of television, Miracle Jr. spread the gospel across the entirety of New England. He has since left the life of glamour and glitz behind to reach those places that need it most. The power of the Lord coming to a town near you. Below the blurb is a flyer about the tour, which is in your evidence. Okay. All right, so Roottree Jr., Miracle Third, and his wife. So this is Junior. 96. He's a notable Rootrees. Okay. Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. will be in this line somewhere here. Now, the question is, okay, so he's notable. So he either goes here or goes here. Let's look up. Let's look up. She said that she had Clark and Danielle. Now, Clark's name is going to be Clark. Yeah, Clark. What's her original name? All right, we need to go back to here. History. Lauren Rafferty. So we need to look up Clark Rafferty, I believe. Nothing. Oh, I spelt it wrong. That's probably why. For the band, Jim and Diamond seem to mention that he used to make music with Clark Rafferty. They mentioned an album called These Times. Would that be under Public Library, maybe? These Times. Copy. Jim and Diamond. Let's look. No, okay. I thought maybe you could search for music in here. Okay, so now we search for Jim and Diamond, right? Yeah. Jim and Diamond. I don't know if we can look this up or not. These Times. Oh, yeah, we can. A band called C&J and J&D released one single called These Times. Someone with the username Die Hard Dazzler scanned the cover and noted it cost him over $200 at auction. Apparently, this was Jim Roottree and Diamond LaRue's first song together. He also mentions that it was performed with Jim's cousin and Diamond's sister, and that it was only somewhat similar to Jim and Diamond's later works. You can't find anything else on it. All we could do is scan it. After a blazing fast 35-minute download, this track is also available. So, Clark was Jim's cousin. Clark was Jim's cousin. Oh, dear Lord. I can't do these pictures. Okay, I don't have the music on, so we can't hear it. That's fine. Because I don't know if any of it's copyrighted or whatever. Clark Rafferty and Jim Roottree, backup vocals by the LaRues. On it is a sticker that says folk style writing catchy. Alright. The lyrics of the song contains no clues. Okay, that's fine. So Clark is his cousin, Jim's cousin. Let's go back here. So Jim is over here. Jim is over here. So Clark could be here. Now, did I put these two in the right spot? Had to have been, right? Because there was no other stars on that line. I had to have put them in the right spot. So Clark, maybe here? No, Clark would have to be here because his mom was there. So we're going to do Clark here, which I don't have a picture of Clark, but I do have a picture of her, which is her. And she was, oh, there's two LaRues Raffertys. Interesting. I don't know if I have them in the right spot. I really don't. I might have to move them all around. But she was Lauren Roottree. And she was an author. And she was married to Jason Rafferty. Right? No. Jacob Rafferty. And then Clark was here. I don't have a picture of Clark, right? I think I'm doing that right. I don't have a picture of Clark. Clark Rafferty, who, musician, possibly? I would assume. And he was getting married to whom? Because I don't know. I can't really take these pictures, I don't think. And I don't know who's who. C and J and J and D. Are these J and D or are these J and D? I don't know. Clark was getting married. Clark was getting married to Danielle. So Danielle Rafferty would be here, I would assume. I don't see a Danielle Rafferty, though. Maybe she changed the name? No, it wouldn't be Rafferty. We don't know who Danielle is. We don't know what her original name was. Franks, maybe? We're going to say Franks. I don't know if that's correct or not, to be quite honest with you. So that would mean that this would be No, wait, that's her pop. Pop is here. Let's go back to this. Sam, we don't know anything about Sam. Zach. Gwen. Gwen and Margot. So Gwen was an only child. So Margot would be here. No, Margot would be here. Yeah. Has to be Margot here. I don't think I have a picture of Margot, though. Who was that? That was her, I believe. This is Margot. I think this is going to be Margot. Margolite. Oh my god, what a freaking name. Margolite. And she was just a housewife, I believe. Housewife. But I don't know who she was married to. Because Gwen was her cousin. Only child. Told her that being expected to watch after 3 younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing, but it fell on deaf ears. So she had 3 younger brothers. So that can't be right. If she had 3 younger brothers, this is... Okay, so this... I need to clear this out. How can I clear this out? 0. Unknown. This is not right. Unknown. That's not right. Unknown. And same with this is going to be unknown. I'm glad you can clear it out. You know what I mean? Unknown. Okay. So this is going to be... Oh, this is not right either. This is going to be unknown. Okay. So this is going to be her. And this is going to be him. There. So this is going to be Lauren. Roottree. This is going to be Jacob. What was his name? Jacob Rafferty. That's right. And because she had 3 younger brothers. So this is going to be Pop. And we don't know Pop's name, right? Right? We don't know Pop's name. Because she said she only knew him as Pop, right? So that means... But... Gwen... Her mom... We don't have her mom. But I have the... Okay, so... Alright. So this is Clark here. Would be... I don't have Clark's picture. I keep forgetting that. Clark would be... I don't understand why Clark would have her last name. Do you know what I mean? Music. Musician. And he was married to Danielle. Maybe Frank's. Did they get divorced? Maybe. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I know that she's notable, so I'm assuming that that's right. But what is Pop's name? Right? Because Gwen was the only child. I told her that being expected to watch after 3 younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing. All right, so let's go back to kissing the likes. Her visage stares. She gets to be in starlet and tell the tales of how she gallivants the world kissing. If I were not a single mother, could I make my own girl? Okay, so did I do that right? I believe so. Actor, yeah. Okay, so Pop. Who is Pop? 65. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwen on her father's side. Her mother's family was called the Cossells, but she hardly ever mentions them. Her father, who she always refers to as Pop, was the head lawyer for the Roottree Candy Company and helped write a legal document called the Clantz Trust. So let's do this. And we are going to search periodicals. There we go. There we go. The Clantz Trust was mentioned many times in Business Watch. Most results are from the 40s and 50s, but occasionally more references creep in. From context, it's clear that it allows the entire Roottree family to earn money based on the profits of the candy company. The first article you can find from 1943 mentions that the infallible legal aspects of it were designed by Clancy Edward Roottree to secure the future of his father's famous name. So Pop is Clancy Edward. Okay. Pop is Clancy Edward. Clancy Edward Roottree. Clancy Edward Roottree. And he was a lawyer. Oh, I did it. Aren't you guys proud of me? Oh my goodness. All right. These are... Oh, we unlocked a couple of people. Nice. I like it. These 3 entries are correct and have been locked. Also unlocked the following optional entries, which is nice. So we did that good. I'm so happy we did that. Nice, nice, nice. Uh-oh. Here she comes again.
You're on a roll. I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes. But I unearthed a photo from a 1970s Roottree reunion. I also found some important-looking papers. You've traced 9 blood relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
Oh, I gotta do 9 more? Okay. Alright, let's look at our evidence. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go back here. What do we got now? Vote. This was buried under a ton of other mail that Carl left in his inbox. It had a handwritten note attached that seemed personal. It's a flyer about a candidate for local office, Stephanie Jones. On the back is an excerpt from a newspaper article from the Butler County Times about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but in her words, it was still full of love. And now 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for voters is simply, love is our future. The handwritten note says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflict spread to the next generation. CM. So, CM. I remember there was a mention in this, in her diary. Where's the diary at? Was it this one? Clark's getting married. Danielle isn't much older. Free spirit. The only one has any discipline is Carl, but that's because Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. So Carl's dad is Clancy. Where's Carl at? Carl is here. So Clancy is here. So Clancy, I would assume. But Clancy Jr. maybe? Maybe Clancy Jr. I would assume. Clancy. Maybe it's just getting older. Our generation was never so bad. My brothers all seem to pursue passive knowledge. The most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere outside of Pennsylvania. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. Edward is set to take over his department since he retires. As for me, I used to invent with Jacob. I think he'd be proud that Clark and I are carrying on his name. Cousin's doing well. Zach's not bad president after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job raising her twins. Gwen is Gwen, but at least she came out of the divorce with head held high. She even told us she might come home next year so we can meet her kids. Okay, so Zach is president. If Zach is president now, or then, whatever this was. Oh, dear Lord. I still don't know. Photo has a note attached from your employer. Every 20 or so years, the Roottrees would hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is one from the 70s, and Carl's the teenager in the middle. This one here. That one is Carl. On the back of the photo, in childish writing, it says November. There's also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bonnie, next president, Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Carolyn, Gwyneth M., Gwendolyn, Miracle Jr., Jim Roottree, Clark, Carl, and Eli. So this one here, I think it might be Miracle, or no, this is Miracle Jr. This is Miracle Jr., I believe, because Miracle, I think, might be this one here or that one. He overcame his eye patch thing. So this is Clark, though. Or Carl, I mean, right? Wait. Yeah, Carl's a teenager in the middle. So this is Carl, I believe. I can swap them out once I get a better one. This one's locked in. I can't do anything with him. I can add some more pictures probably, but I can't change their initial picture. All right, so Carl is good. That's his picture. There's still more to do with him, though, because he's not locked in. Clark was her son. I think this is Miracle Jr. I don't know. This might be Jim. She's pregnant. I'm not quite sure, honestly. All right, let's go to this one here. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Here's a bonus. When I pulled water damage picture out of the free spirits out of the frame, this fell out too. Written on the back of the photo is, couldn't make the reunion, wishing you all well from Paris, Gwen and the boys. So this is Gwen and her 2 boys. Okay. Can I add this to Gwen? Let's see what we got going on here. Gwen is over here. I can probably add this there. And then her 2 boys. I don't know which one's going to be which. We're going to do that. Gwen and her 2 boys. Ouch. We're going to do that for now. We're going to do that for now. Then go back to this one. This photo was tucked inside an envelope with a letter beneath a candle in the corner of his office. The letter says, "To Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry that you were unable to attend the funeral. It's traditional to have it as soon as possible. And Ernie, more than anyone else on earth, knew how busy your job can be. I've enclosed a Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay your respects, though it's not expected for those outside of the faith to do so. Ernie was a man full of love, not only for his family, but for his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you 3 did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. As for myself, it is impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills. Though we caught it too late for him to get on the donor list, the company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations. It went unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust, and that it was no coincidence that it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could never have done that without the 2 of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie." That does not help me at all. Debbie and Ernie has a daughter, Nicole. Debbie and Ernie has a daughter, Nicole. What's the last one that we have? This here. The Roottree sisters and their parents died, blah, blah, blah. After some time, they returned with new resources, photo Carl's generation, taking in the mid to late 70s, as well as some papers and mail from his office. Then they said, bit more time to share. 9 more blood relatives. Okay. I am highly confused. How about you guys? Everybody's so quiet. All right. So let's see. Let's go back to the diary. I feel like the diary has more information in it. You're listening, but you're still lost. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. All right. So Danielle and Jacob. Danielle and Jacob. Okay. So Gwen is Gwen. Zach is not bad president after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job. So Gwen has a brother named Zach. Could be any one of these people here. Not her, though. So this is where we're wrong. I don't think she's locked in, though, here, but I'm starting to think that she should have been over here. No, because she has 2 kids, and that's locked in, so that said it was right. So, okay, Gwen is Gwen. Zach Okay, Zach is just a cousin. Okay. And his sister. But Zach's not a bad president after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job at raising her twins, Gwen. Okay, so Zach's one of the first. Okay, Gwen is Gwen, raising her twins. Zach, cousin, has twins. Zach, cousin, has twins. Zach, cousin, has twins. Zach, cousin, has twins. These? Probably? That's the only one that's got two. Oh, this one. So Zach could be here or here. With twins. Alright. So Zach could be one of these two here. Oh, no, one of these three. Goodness gracious. Okay. Cousins are doing well. Zach's not a bad president. All right, so let's look for maybe Zachary Roundtree. What's the notables that I haven't done yet? I looked up Miracle Jr. before, so there must be more to do for that. Carl Roottree. We could try looking up Carl Roottree again. See if that gives us any more information now. Copy. Okay. No, it doesn't really get anything. Like his great-grandfather before him, Carl, earned that. Okay, that's fine. So let's look up Zach. Nothing. Nothing on the Zach Roottree side, which I find interesting. Margot. We could look up Margot. What was her name? Her name was Margot. Margot is like a weird name. Margolin Roottree. It was something. Margolite Roottree. Oops. Copy. Paste. Nothing? Oops, not what I wanted to do. Margot. Oops. Nothing. Okay. Nicole. What if we look up Nicole? Copy. Paste. Nothing. All right, well, we got to find something else worth dealing with. And again, I feel so there's still one more thing that we can find that's connected to this first page. Okay, so Jacob died. Clark, granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Coselles. Let's look for Coselles. She doesn't talk about them much, but let's look. Sarah Cosell. Let's look for Sarah Cosell. Nothing. But we do know that her mom was Sarah Cosell. So that has to be right. She just doesn't talk about him very much. So Clancy Jr. Roundtree. Can we look up Clancy? Did I try to look up Clancy? Nothing. I still find that hard to believe. Clancy. Let me see if I just copy his name. Clancy Jr. Copy. No. Again, there's still something on this first page that we need to look for. 5 pieces, generation of children, Gwyneth. Lauren's father was in this generation. Next generation, Lauren's generation. Free spirits, the generation after and Lauren's, including her son. So there was a picture of the... Was it... Which one was it? Was it this one? No. But on the back of the photo, childish writing, it says November. So I'm wondering if her name, if this is November. Because there is a November Roottree. Okay, let's go back. There was a picture. So November must be her daughter. Yeah. November must be her daughter. Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye. It comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let your conflicts spread. CM. So who would CM be? I would assume CM would be this gentleman here. She would be Stephanie. But are they part of the Roundtrees? Let's look at the names. So where's Stephanie? Stephanie Cattrall. CM. A man. CM. CM. Oh, Zachariah Morden might be the other one. CM. I do not see a CM. CM. Who would be CM? Unless it's not that gentleman. Maybe it's a woman who sent it. CM. Caroline Morden. Caroline Morden. Caroline Morden. Who is that? Can we search her? No. Caroline Morden. She wants the sisters to talk about she was asking Carl to see if the sisters would talk about Stephanie. Stephanie, I'm assuming, would be I don't know. Don't forget family trees, surnames from birth, even if the person changed their last name after marriage. Family trees uses surnames. Okay, always use a person's most recent occupation. Okay, that's fine. I can't open that. What is this? Guardian, adoption or otherwise. Ooh, somebody adopted somebody? Okay. All right. We gotta figure this out. This is driving me banana-rama. Not really, but what is the picture? So there was a picture, I thought, from, they were saying from the where's it at? The Free Spirits. That's what I wanted. This photo, November. Carl's the teenager in the middle. Pipe burst in Carl's office. On the back of the photo in childish printing, it says November. There's also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bonnie, next president, Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Miracle Jr. Like, I think this is Miracle Jr. here. Miracle Jr. But Miracle, we don't know which one Miracle is in the grand scheme of the thing. Jim Roottree, Carl, or Clark, Carl, and Eli. Because Miracle, we know, was the youngest of the 5 kids. But we don't know. So Miracle Jr., I know there's a Miracle the 3rd. But we don't know what Miracle Jr. did. Miracle Jr. was not there. This is Margolite, which I don't have a picture of Margot. But I'm pretty sure Margot is her mom, Gwen's mom. All right, let's go back here. Let's look under Miracle Jr. again. Copy. Okay, Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name in promotional materials. Instead, he has shortened it to Miracle Jr. Part of the Miracle Network, which I looked up before. According to the website Clergy Watch. Let's see. Can I search this one? Copy. This is just telling me this one again. News expose revealing that his wife Edith. So Miracle Jr. is married to Edith. A new expose revealed it was his wife Edith's sister in disguise. In the wheelchair, the author also mentions that Edith had a bit of a checkered path herself, but doesn't clarify. So can we look for Edith? I think I did look up the Miracle Network, right? I did. Testimonies of the Miracles Roottree. Can we just search Miracles Roottree? Copy. Paste. No. Copy. Paste. Search. The plural of multiple people named Miracle Roottree is Miracles Roottree because plural... What? You're driving me banana-rama, this thing. This is the same thing. Why is that doing that? Okay. Triumphed over those, and he began to... Okay. Miracle Roottree Jr. 18 unburned himself from the Roottree name and took his father's testimony to a whole new level. So Roottree Miracle was the youngest. Final child of his generation was nearly torn apart by countless health problems, but still 23 years later, Miracle Roottree Jr. arrived and became the famous family's second vessel for the higher power. Took his father's testimony to television, but it's not telling me like who he was married to, like who's his mom. So I'm assuming that Miracle only had one kid. But would it be this one? Yeah, it wouldn't be here. It could be here. What does this say? The whole family tree has been filled in. It has 2 names that must be typed in manually. The clues are obscure, haven't been intentionally hidden in the past, and may even require some leaps in logic. Try to keep an eye out for any inconsistencies. Okay, so Miracle had a kid. This one had 2 kids. So Miracle had 1 kid. So this one's got to be Miracle. This one's got to be Miracle Jr. or Miracle with Miracle Jr. underneath. Miracle. And Miracle Jr. Oh, I don't have a picture of Miracle Jr., I don't think. This has got to be Miracle Jr. here. So when we look at this, go back here, and we look at this, we've got this is Miracle Jr. But the only picture of Miracle that we have is this one, I believe. Okay. So if we go back here, we could do Miracle, and then this one is Miracle Jr. And then we have Miracle the Third, and his wife, Miracle the Third and his wife Nicole, right? Yeah, Miracle the Third and his wife Nicole. But we don't know if they've got a kid. So let's take a picture of that. Go back over here. Well, either one, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Let's do this one. Miracle the Third and his wife Nicole. And I'm assuming that his wife Nicole is Nicole Madsen. And what are you, like, what is he, evangelist? Like, what would you call that? Politics? Preacher. There we go. Or wait a minute, he's not a preacher, he's a student. Media mogul. Okay. Miracle, though, like if we go here and we look at this, 68th year on God's earth, world famous Miracle Jr. World famous. Notable. Okay, youth pastors. Okay. So he's got to be, like, that's got to be considered a preacher there, right? I would assume. Or media mogul. I don't think media mogul is correct. I think it's preacher. Would you consider him, I guess, or a public speaker? Would you consider him a preacher or a public speaker? Probably a preacher, I would assume. But we don't know who he married. Miracle. Became famous. Okay, the power of the Lord. Yeah, he's definitely a preacher. Miracle Jr. He had a wife named Edith. Edith. Okay, let's go back to this. Edith. But we don't know what Edith's name. Edith Jacobson. Goodness gracious. Now I'm assuming that that's, well, yeah, no. Did I put him in? No, I did not, huh? I did not put him in the right spot, I don't think. But that would be 2 kids. It had to be in the right spot, but there's no star there. So that can't be the right spot. The only place that there's a star is here. And this I can't move. That was correct. But he only had... Miracle only had 1 kid as far as I know. I mean, it doesn't really say. It's possible that he had 2 and we just don't know the other 2. But Miracle Jr. is the one that should be starred. Yeah, Miracle Jr. So I don't think I have them in the right spot. So if I don't have them in the right spot, then that means they have to be over here. Because Miracle Jr. has to have a star. Alright, so we need to move him. Okay. He needs to go over here. Miracle. I will figure this out. So, Miracle's there, and he is a... What was he? What did I say that Miracle was? Unknown occupation. Okay, so Miracle Jr. is going here. You're Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. And you are a preacher. Preacher. And you had a wife of, what's her name? Edith. And you had Miracle the Third. And you're also a preacher. Oh, there we go. I didn't get to move his wife, though. Locked in everyone on the notable Roottree Roottree's list. Nice. Okay. I did not unlock her correctly, though. That's the problem. Did they move it? They did, I think. Yep, they did. Nice. You are married to Nicole. Where's Nicole? Nicole Madsen. There we go. There we go. So I figured it out. I figured it out. So we've got all of those notables done. There's no more notables. So everything else we're filling in is just insanity. Pretty much. All right, so what do we need to do now? Let's go back to this. This is what we need. We need 9 more blood relatives. This one here, we did all of them, so that's good. We filled in all of the notables. I'm still trying to figure out the kids. Where's the 5 pieces? That's this one. So that's not the right one that I want, though. I want the other one, this one. So M was for Melon. That is, what's her face? Cinnamon, E. So this is the M. E. No. So she must be the second young. I don't know if she's the second youngest, but. So Cinnamon would be over here because we have Edward there. Yeah. So EMM. So we still need the C and the. What is it? The C. The CE and the G. CE and the G. So G would be Gwen, like Gwendolyn, right? Because there was another Gwen, I believe. Candy company called the Clance Trust. Gwyneth, the first generation of children by Gwyneth and Elias. Lauren's father was in the generation. Okay. It still says that we have one more evidence there, but I don't know what it would be. A life between wars? Skimming through Lauren pages in A Life Between Wars. Notable. Okay. Do we need to look at her other books, maybe? This one's got 2. Lauren's family members. Gwen. Gwen is an only child. Aunt Margot. Stuck here with Clark. Starlet. Scoff like I do at... Okay, so... I don't know if I need to know anything about Starlet. We could look. No. I didn't think so. Oh, I spelt it wrong, though. Starlet with 1 T. There we go. Starlet was a magazine that started with the colorization of film and went until 64. Generally, it was a tabloid with a focus on famous actors and actresses. It didn't much go into any other aspects of filmmaking or Hollywood news. Okay. So, did that give us... I thought that gave us something. No? Maybe not. Okay, that's fine. Go back to this. She's the first Roottree woman to be anything other than a housewife. I feel like I heard a really weird noise. Anything other than a housewife. So all the other Roottree women were housewives. Okay. Notable Roottrees list. Gwen is on that. Only child. Okay. This one's got 5. Yeah, we're gonna have to pick this up tomorrow. We only have an hour left. I still got quite a bit to figure out, huh? An entry entitled Dynasty. Grandfather Elias announced he would step down as president of Roottree. So this is what we need to figure out. Clancy had told me that everyone got quite heated. So Clancy is... Granddad was furious none of his sons would take over as president. So Clancy is one... argued at length. I'm not sure even Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who volunteered. Instead, it ended up going to Zach, even though his surname doesn't match the candy. He's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. Okay, so who's the firstborn 5-piece? He's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. I'm not sure how that's relevant to running a company, but Granddad... Okay. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach. Alright, so it's going to Zach. He's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. So, Zach and Angie... And I'm oldest of us all, but he just laughed. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Ma it wouldn't go to us. Mother, ever the quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, countered back. Maybe they wanted it to go to the only member of the family who looks like he samples the product. So Zach is a big boy, right? I'm assuming Zach is the big boy. So if we're looking at this, where's the picture? This picture here, maybe this is Zach. This is the next generation. An attempt to recapture the spirit of 5-piece photo with our generation for old time's sake. We gathered at the warehouse floor. I wanted Eli to stand all the way to the left. Since to me he looked a lot like Pop did in the old one, but I was outvoted by my brothers. They insisted 4 of us stand together, so we clumped up in the middle and let everyone filter in. I think I have this picture wrong. This I don't think is Lauren. The only one too good to make an appearance was Gwen. 4 of us stand together, so we all clumped in, filter behind, front. The only one was too good. Okay, so Grandma insisted we include Sam, even if we didn't want to. None of us understood why, including Sam. I also didn't think it fair. Miracle made it in. Since he's technically a 5-piece, I guess my inner child still holds a grudge even after all these years. So this here is Miracle, as far as I can understand. You wanted Eli to stand all the way to the left since it looked a lot like Pop. This is Eli, I believe. But was outvoted by my brothers. They insisted the 4 of us stand together. So we clumped up in the middle and let everyone filter in. behind and in front of us. The only one too good to make an appearance was Gwen. So I believe that this is Miracle. This is probably Miracle the third. I think that's... or Miracle Jr. I'm assuming. I was thinking that this was Lauren, but I don't think that's Lauren. I think maybe this one is Lauren. This might be Zach. This might be Zach, because Zach is the one that got the president after what's-his-face stepped down, right? So if... I'm pretty sure that's what I was reading. Furious, architect, preachers, and lawyers. Pop argued. Instead it ended up going to Zach. Yeah, I think that Zach, I think this one, I think this is Zach. And Zach is the second president, next gen. With our generation. So I think Zach, if that's Lauren, I think Zach is on this generation, but not one of her brothers. And then this is Miracle with Miracle Jr. See, the thing that I'm like, that is bothering me is I think I might have these wrong, because this isn't locked in. This is locked in, and I might have these all in the wrong spot, and I don't think I can fix them, because I don't think Miracle had another kid unless he adopted one, and that might be the case. So Zach would be the next president of the next generation, because, and Zach is the eldest of the firstborn. So maybe this is Zach over here, one of these. But which one would it be? And who is Zach's mom? I'm assuming so who would Zach's mom be? Insisted we included Sam even if we didn't want to. Sam, and we don't know what's going on with Sam. Which might have been this one here. Maybe an adoptive kid. I don't know who this is. But I'm pretty sure this is Zach. I'm pretty sure. Even though his surname doesn't match the candy, he's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. Firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. And if I remember correctly, somebody said... Is that her? Wait a minute. I thought she said that she had 3 brothers. No? Margot, sister, I never had to do the same with her. Dry, plain, glamorous life. Quit as a child, complaining. No, she had 3 younger brothers. Okay, so Lauren had 3 younger brothers. So if we go to here, Pop argued at the length that custody should stay with Brand. I'm not even sure. Instead, it was going to Zach, even though his surname doesn't match the candy. He's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. I'm not sure how relevant to a company, but Granddad has always been very particular. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach, and I'm next oldest of us all, but he just laughed. There's somewhere where I don't remember where it was. Was it here? Clark and Lauren never remarried. There was something I read where she was talking to, or somebody said that they got married, but the son, okay, so I'm trying to figure out how do I explain this. That there was somebody in the family, a male in the family, that got married, or a female in the family that got married, where her husband took the Roottree name, even though he wasn't a Roottree. He took the family's name. I think. Is it Sam? Had sisters greater than brother, but I was told trim their branches from their family tree, so why is Sam special? Angie summoned all the next gens to a secret meeting in Zach's office. Gwen's in Paris, but the rest of us, including Miracle's boys. Oh, so Miracle did have 2 boys. Spent ages trying to unravel the mystery. I didn't recognize Sam at Uncle Junior's wedding. Didn't recognize Sam at Uncle Junior's wedding to Patsy last year. So Junior, at the reception when I asked who Sam was, Pop shushed me and said it was complicated. Clancy swore he saw Sam working alongside the farm hands, EC and John, when we used to drive past an old Anderson farm on his way to work. Upon hearing that, Zach checked the records and managed to confirm all 3 are on the books. Eli, Miracle's youngest, not my brother, even chimed in. So Eli is Miracle's youngest. So Eli would be over here. So he did have a second one. So this is going to be Eli over here. Eli Roottree, I would assume. Oh, Eli. But would it be Elias M or Elias C? Oh, I don't like it when they do that. Eli, his youngest. Probably this one, Elias M. I'm gonna assume, because it's probably like an Elias Miracle. We're gonna put that there for the moment. We're gonna put that there. Go back over here. Eli, Miracle's youngest son, not my brother. So she had a brother named Eli as well, chimed in. Apparently he was riding his mini bike alongside the farm a few weeks ago. Sam gave him some old tools and taught him how to make the bike's engine faster. None of us think that proper for a multitude of reasons, but Eli certainly seemed thrilled. At the end of the day, nothing explains why an outsider has cozied into family affairs, especially one who works on the farm of all places. Whatever happened to blood is thicker than syrup? Why is Granddad making an exception now? So Sam must be... learned that Elias Roottree had given into his wife and announced that Sam, an obscure relative, was to be included in family gatherings. Gwyneth had been pushing to include Sam for quite some time. Lauren writes, "Why Sam? I have many distant relatives I've never met. After all, Granny had sisters and Granddad had a brother or two, but I was told trim their branches from the family tree, so why is Sam so special? Nothing adds up." Okay. Entries called Clark. Clark's getting married. We already know this one. This one's got 15 intuitions. How many clues are connected to a specific piece of evidence? The higher the number, the more there is to find. Sometimes the reason certain evidence has such a high value is because it can lead to finding more evidence. You may be missing a huge piece of the puzzle. So this one's got 15. Pirate stories I used to invent with Jacob when we were walking in the woods after school. I think he'd be proud that Clark and I are carrying on his name. What? Even my cousins are doing well. Zach's not a bad president after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job at raising her twins. Gwen, raising her twins. So Zach's sister, oh dear Lord, Zach's sister is Angie. Okay. Zach's sister is Angie, and they are the children of the oldest child. So it must be here. Zach and Angie must be here. But where, though? How many kids does Zach have? And how many kids do they have? Distant relative Sam must be in here somewhere. Or adopted, guardian adopted or otherwise. Zach must be over here. No, Sam must be included. So Sam's got to be older. Sam's got to be along this line somewhere. So this must be Sam here. I'm feeling like this is Sam. Over here is what I'm feeling like. I'm feeling like Sam is that one. If Sam is, I don't know. And then this, we need to find out more information about Zach and Angie. Angie's got twins. Okay, Angie's got twins. We know that. We don't know if Angie's got twins. Let's look up. Let's see if we can find out Angie Roottree. Let's look at let's go back here. Let's go back here to the names. Roottree. There is no Angie Roottree. Is that the one where the person took the other name? So is there an Angela? Angie. Okay. Angie. Angela. There. Angelica Morden? Possibly. Is there a Zach Morden? There's a Zach Wilson, but it's not spelled the same way. Zachariah Morden. Yes, there is. Let's look under Zachariah Morden. Copy. No. That, I see that, that bothers me because that should be in there. Okay, so let's go back here. And Angie Morden. Angelica Morden. copy. Unless it's because it's not... Maybe it has to be the other way around. Right, Morden? No. See, it seems to me like those should be searchables. You know what I mean? Because they aren't important to the... Okay, so Gwendolyn... So there must be a male with the last name Morden. No. I take that back. Well, James, there's a James Morden and a Zachariah Morden. James Morden. Can we look up James Morden? Oops. Jeez Louise, Stacy. Let's search for James Morden. No. Because I'm pretty sure there's a name. There's somebody referenced somewhere that did not take... that took the Roottree name but was a male instead. But I don't know where that information was. I don't recall. Was it here? This is Carl and Brenda. I'm sorry you were unable to attend the funeral. It's tradition to have it as soon as possible. And Ernie knew how busy your job can be. I've enclosed a Shiva candle. Ernie was a man full of love, not for his family's legacy. So, Carl and Brenda. Carl, as well as Carl's, an immense amount of pride for the work you three did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. As for myself, it's impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us. Panic and his bills. Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust that it was no coincidence that it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. So who is Brenda? I don't remember who Brenda is. Was Brenda Sarah Jacob? Brenda White was Carl's wife. Brenda White was Carl's wife. Okay, we got that. Ernie had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We would never have done that much without the two of you fighting first. Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. So Nicole was married to... Well, there is a Nicole that's married to Miracle the Third. But is there another Nicole? Jeez Louise. Is there another Nicole? Did I choose the wrong Nicole? There's a Nicole Madsen. That's the one that's married to Miracle the Third. I assume. There's a Nicole Smith. There's two Nicoles. Let's look up maybe Nicole Smith. Wait, first of all, yeah, let's look up Nicole Smith. Nothing. I don't know. I don't even know where to look for anything currently. Immense amount of pride for the work that you three did together, as well as as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. So Ernie used to be, if Carl was, where's Carl at? Carl's up over here. So if Carl was the president, Ernie must have been the fourth president. If Carl was the fifth. So who would be the fourth president? Ernie? Ernie was the fourth president, right? Doesn't make any sense. I'm so confused. I have those right because they all said that they were correct. I didn't fail on any of that. James, there's nothing I could find more on James that I know of. This one must be, let's look at this. Let's go back here. Because if we look at this one here, I believe this is James. I believe that's James there. I think this is Miracle. Sorry about the water damage. Pipe burst. I think this is Miracle Jr. This one here. Let's go back over here. So if we've got another Miracle Jr., I think that's this one here. And then this one I think is James. Next president, Guy Hudson. So, and then Ernie Jr. Bonnie. Who's Bonnie? Who in the hell is Bonnie? Who in the hell is Bonnie? All right. And Eli M. Oh my gosh. Gwyneth M. Gwendolyn. Every 20 years or so, blah, blah, 70s, Carl's a teenager in the middle. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's Carl. Because he looks like a teenager, and he's in the middle. This one, can I zoom in on this picture? I can. So this is Eli. Jeez Louise. That's Eli. Eli M. Can we search Eli M? No. No. Like this is annoying because I don't know how I'm supposed to figure it out. I'm trying to remember the pathways, you know what I mean? Like childish writing is November. So this is November, but who is she a child of? Do you know what I mean? Like who is she a child of? I'm assuming she is probably a child of Stephanie. I'm assuming that Stephanie is Stephanie Jones. Let's see if we can figure out Stephanie Jones. Maybe that's where we go. Okay. Stephanie Jones, a candidate for city council, won her campaign on election day about a month ago. You find no mention of the Roottrees in any articles about her. Stephanie also has a very bare bones website for her campaign. It is simply a picture of her campaign mailer, and underneath it says, be sure to read the full article in the Butler County Times. Okay. So, Butler County Times. Periodicals. Butler County Times. Oh, I got something. The most recent mention of Stephanie Jones is a small report detailing the election results from last month's election. Stephanie apparently won her election. You also find the full version of the newspaper clipping on the back of the campaign mailer. While most of it is unimportant, you do find the following. Stephanie Jones, born Stephanie Landon, until her marriage to local business owner Brian Jones, has lived in Butler County her whole life. Stephanie grew up in a home without a father. With my mother and her partner, I essentially had an entirely female influence. Though she is a distant cousin of the Roottrees, her mother, Caroline, a local artist who appeared on the front page of the Butler County Times in the past, has often come out opposed to the corporation's policies regarding deforestation of indigenous trees to expand their maple farms. Unlike my mother, I am not a fighter. I want to bring love to the world. Okay, so that's interesting. So she grew up without a father. Distant cousins of the Roottrees, her mother Caroline, a local artist. So Caroline Roottree? Okay. Did I spell her name right? Caroline. Oops. Caroline. I thought Roottree. Nothing. Stephanie Jones. Stephanie Landon. Okay, Caroline Landon. Maybe that's what I gotta look for. Caroline Landon. No. She grew up without a father. Landon. Okay, let's go back over here. I feel like there was something new that we had. Landon. Wasn't there something new that came in? CM. Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye. Landon. Stephanie Jones. Landon. Who was one of the Landons? I don't remember. Landon. Her mom. Landon. Stephanie Landon. Okay, nothing. Caroline. No, Caroline Roottree. No. Just when I thought I was getting somewhere. Roottree, Landon. Who was a Landon? I feel like I know that name. Like I've searched that name before. But who was it? Anderson. I feel like we had a Landon before. Go back over here. Landon. I really feel like we had a Mark Landon. Mark Landon, Stephanie Landon. Caroline Morden. Oh. Caroline Morden? Let's look up Caroline Morden, maybe. Caroline Morden. Caroline is listed on a few art websites without much detail. She seems to be associated with a movement called PFLAG. Organization found in the 70s. Acronym stands for Parents and Friends of Lesbian and Gays. So she grew up without a father. So this has to be okay. So Caroline's got to be this one. Possibly. Because this is the top secret thing where it says clues are obscure here, intentionally hidden in the past, and may even require some leaps of magic. Unless it's here, guardian, adoption, or otherwise. If this is Caroline Landon here, maybe. Distant relative of the Roottrees. Right, maybe. If Caroline, well, no. Maybe Caroline's over here. That got separated, split up. Oh my goodness. What was the other Landon name? There was a man with the Landon name. Where's it at? I really... Or was it Morden? Am I looking under the wrong name now? Caroline Morden. Stephanie Landon. What was I looking up? PFLAG. Go back. Morden. So there was a gentleman under the Morden name. I'm getting so confused with all the names. James Morden and Zach Morden. Ooh. Oh no. Okay. And we had looked them up before, right? I know we can click notes. We're fine. Morden. I'm pretty sure that I was looking under, that I looked up the Mordens and nothing came through. Nothing. Nothing. Caroline, Gwendolyn Morden? Angelica. Is there an Angelica Roottree? Because wasn't there, hear me out, wasn't there here where Zach was going to do that, but Angie is older than Zach. So maybe Angelica Roottree? No. Damn it. Excuse me. Stephanie. Stephanie grew up at home without a father with my mother and her partner. So Stephanie, her mother Caroline. All right, so let's look under P flag here. Nothing. Okay. So Stephanie, this is her mom. Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflict spread to the next generation. CM. That's her mom. Her mom sent Carl the message. Her mom did. Because her mom is Stephanie, what was it? Stephanie, was it Landon Jones? Yeah, Stephanie. She was born Stephanie Landon until her marriage to local business owner Brian Jones. So Stephanie's last name was Landon, but her mom was Caroline Morden. Caroline Morden. And Caroline is the one who sent this about her daughter, right? Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but her words is still full of love. And now, 22 years later, a baby with her own due around Christmas. Love is our future. The handwritten note says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let her conflict spread to the next generation. So her mom was in a relationship with another woman, possibly Stephanie Landon. Possibly with... Is there a female here with Landon? Just Stephanie. So there's no other... Unless her mom was with Mark and then decided to divorce, right? So it would probably be like here, maybe? No, because there's no kid there. There would have to be a kid under here, because if this was Stephanie, Stephanie's got a kid coming. So Carl... Oh, interesting. That's not Carl. That's Clark. Possibly. Clark. With Danielle. Did they get divorced? I mean, they must have gotten divorced, because that was the only place that Clark would fit. So Clark Rafferty. I don't think there's anything I can search for Clark Rafferty. Mention album these times. These times. I looked up these times. I remember looking that up. This right here. Jim's cousin and Diamond's sister. Diamond LaRue. And it was only somewhat similar to Jim and Diamond's later works. Can't find anything else about the Die Hard Dazzler, the band, or the singles, so all that's left to do is add the scan to your evidence after a blazing 35 minutes. Okay. So there's nothing else. $200 at auction. Apparently this was Jim Diamond LaRue's first song together. Diamond's sister. Can we search for Diamond LaRue, maybe? Cherry Tree, Sounds of Laughter, Recluse. So did they get divorced? Who refer to themselves as Diamond Dazzlers. The rest of their music is more folksy. So Diamond, only the great-grandson of Elias Roottree could make disco this sweet. Okay. Music, vocals, Diamond LaRue. Can't afford gas, we skate on the street. The guys all rush to say that I'm pretty. Ladies blush and find me so witty. They're out of luck tonight, what a pity. We're rolling down into the city. On wheels we glide. With you by my side, inflation is rising, but so is our pride. Pick our own fate, make love not hate. They fight overseas, but we'd rather skate. The guys all rush, they say I'm pretty. Okay, politicians at large are all hopeless. The bankers in charge are all clowns. Parties sell better than protests. No signs. So signs up while we boogie down, down, down. Okay. The lyrics contain no clues, but there's 9 clues based off of this. Economic inflation and civil unrest in the Middle East, unless pop culture tricked them into caring. According to the liner notes, somewhat ironically, listeners didn't seem to pay attention to the lyrics most play for the roller disco because it was such a product of its time. It doesn't get much play anymore, even on stations that play oldies. Maybe that's why you never heard of it before or now. The image is from an auction. Can I search this dude? Copy. You find a mention on a fan website about a band related to the Roottrees. He used to work for Modern Music Monthly before the magazine went under. Let's see if that works. Oh, okay. Magazine from the 40s to the early 80s. It went out of business due to high competition from major brands. Okay, so would that be under? It is. Okay. And then we look for... What do we want to look for? Diamond? No. We want to look for what's his face. What was his name? Peter Yankovic. Copy. Paste. You don't see anything relevant anywhere in the first few pages. Oh, is it time, Spence? You don't see anything relevant anywhere in the first few pages to look through them all if you're looking for a specific album. Okay. Well, I guess we're going to pause here and we'll resume this tomorrow. Maybe we'll make more headway tomorrow. I hope that you guys enjoyed it today. I hope that we're going to save and quit. I hope that you'll come back tomorrow to watch the rest of it. Hopefully we can finish it tomorrow. We'll see. We'll definitely see. If you like it on the YouTube side, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Or, leave me some hints down below. That'll be good. Follow on Twitch if you haven't already. And you know what, guys? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you again, Spencer, for all that you do. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.